Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
I'd be like that. Well, you could do that, but what about the menu?
That's what
we were told to do that.
Someone said to me that. They were like, because I was like, can I get chicken and ham? And they're like,
No.
That doesn't go together. I was like, of course it does. They're like, no, because it's not on the menu.
What am I doing with the second half of your can, Amelia? I'm just keeping hold of it.
Is
It's there if
is
you
that
need
out
it.
of shot? Yeah.
I can top you up halfway
You're
through.
not want to give Pepsi any more fucking airtime than is necessary.
Yeah.
We're more of an Iron Brew kind of
Sorry.
channel.
Nah, but we don't need to give them promotion, either.
No,
They're
not until
because
they're
they're
not
paying
paying
us.
us.
Yeah.
So you just know no brands.
No
Again.
brand, not yet.
Everything's
We're
got to go
open
in
to invites.
Some laugh mug.
Yeah.
Are you actually gonna get like sponsorship?
I hope so.
That is so
yeah.
exciting. Oh my god.
With respect, you're one of the most easily excitable people I've ever met.
I am. That is
You
true.
will call like a packet of crisps iconic.
I was actually eating like chicken sensations the other day, and I was like, these are fundamentally iconic. I remember when these came in. Do you know?
Yeah,
They were a big deal.
because there was two
Awesome.
camps. I was like a chicken and thyme, chicken
Oh, of
thyme
course
one.
you were.
And then there was
Soft
the
lad.
sweet chili. Well, chicken, no, because it gets knocked a lot. Chicken and thyme, and they're delicious.
I had them, yeah.
They're good.
And
Do you like
news
them?
agents and ask for fucking chicken and ham crisps, see if you've got that.
I would eat it
Aye,
if it was an option.
doesn't go. See, that's because this is what we've been talking about. Amelia used to work in Peace, the sandwich shop.
Yes.
Because I'm always self-conscious. See if I go to a place too much that they then start knowing my order, I feel so self-conscious that I need to stop going
Really?
now because
Why?
I'm like,
This
I
loser.
feel like
You
a
used
fucking
to-
fat bastard.
You were a
Yeah.
Baguette Express kind of guy,
Oh, Bigot Express, man.
which is the lowest tier of
But
sandwiches.
lowest of
it's the
society.
best. I know, because and the wee guy who works there, I mean, listen, it's still there in Clydebank, no shade to him, but he's minging, right? And basically,
Apart from that, no shit.
he was like Manuel for 42 hours or something. But the
Folks slapping him
chicken,
on the head with a spoon and everything.
the chicken tikka was so nice there, and I'd love to just get the recipe or know who their supplier is, and I would get it.
I like the idea of you getting wholesale chicken
Cut out
tikka.
the
If you're
middleman of
See, if I
Baguette.
wasn't trying to cut out the carbs, I would happily have a chicken tikka baguette for Bigot Express every lunch for the
day.
rest of my
Can you
life.
not just have the chicken tikka without
you could
the
just
baguette?
raw dog it. Yeah.
Well, but I don't know where they get theirs from, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to go in and ask. Although, see, when I left Asda, Clydebank, it was my last day. I went to the Bigot Express, and the last day there gave me a big tub of the chicken tikka. To take
What?
away. It's
Wow.
The golden
Really?
carriage
Aye.
clock.
and I was just like there the next week, but just no in a non-work capacity.
So how big
That's
was
great.
this tub? Because you're going to have to use that within like 2 days.
Aye.
I was, yeah. I don't know if I even used it.
A
I
lot of
can't
wastage.
remember.
That's
But
a
it was
shame.
fucking nice, man. If anyone knows where they get their chicken tikka, I'd love to know.
Well, we never got to try it, but me and Amelia were gigging last week in Birmingham together, and we were staying in the same hotel. And next door there was a place called Bigot World, which was also, I believe, called Fundamentally Iconic. That was
It's actually, when we gigged in Birmingham, you let me down because
oh god,
I thought we were going to both get a continental breakfast
you let me down. I forgot that you actually did it.
before
Fucking hell.
going. Like, because honestly, we were like DMing about this gig, like, and we were like booking a hotel, and Stu was
I was like, "Are we putting a breakfast on? Come on, let's get a breakfast."
And I was like,
"Me and
yeah.
you tanning a buffet class." But then you didn't. In my mind, you didn't give a firm answer, so I left it.
and then I had to have a continental breakfast by myself.
We were drinking it after the gig. It was this poetry festival, and we were in this Weatherspoons, and Amelia's sober. And I've had like 8 pints, and she's drinking Monster energy drink like a fucking incel in a Weatherspoons. She drank a can of Monster at midnight, and she's like, "Why do I feel so upbeat and wired?" It's like a genius. You're like, I need to turn in. I've got to get up at 6 for this continental breakfast.
I honestly slept for like 2 hours. It was so bad. But yeah,
Yeah, you look like the one that had been out all
I
night.
know. I was giving like tragic energy on that train. I was on a like caffeine calm down.
I don't think I wouldn't thank you for a continental breakfast.
Do you know, I was going to
It's
say,
the-
Steve,
I'm not
'cause
setting my
I think,
alarm for
Key
some
and Peele.
fucking melon.
The Key and Peele sketch. Have you seen that?
I think this will be in your brain as much as me, Stevie, but I can never hear the phrase continental breakfast without thinking about that guy that used to do that bit.
Amelia d-
Continental breakfast. Continental,
As
but
if we
when,
weren't doing that joke on the train for the full 7 hours.
but I can't remember how how he got to that punchline.
No, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
How?
We should explain this for the listeners.
Yeah.
So as a guy, I don't think he does it anymore. As an older guy, and he was like a one-liner comic, and they just. We can give away the punchline because I don't think he does comedy, and we're not saying it was a good joke. But the punchline was Continental Breakfast.
Yeah.
But I can't remember.
I'm sure we can work backwards.
Everyone can remember the punchline, but no one can remember the setup.
I mean, it must have been something to do with
It was something
mental
like
health and
I went to a hotel and there was a guy with a pair of pants on his head running around like a loony. He served me a continental breakfast, something like that.
Something like that,
It was
yeah.
something
He also
like
had
that.
a joke that the punchline was Black Forest Gatto. And I can't remember the setup to that.
The Black Forest ghetto. It was like he went through a rough area and there was loads of cream and cherries in the streets. It was a Black Forest ghetto.
That's
What a
great.
guy, man.
Absolutely.
Love that.
It's
And
funny
they also had Peshwari Nan.
That's
a
different guy.
guy.
different one-liners guy.
Yeah.
They always stick in your head
Food,
like one-liners, like punchlines.
That's why I've got him to open for
Yeah.
me at the Kings.
Be starting like Bewitched to be starting and ending on the Continental Breakfast.
Continental Breakfast, man. To stay on the topic of food and stuff and things that are iconic, one of my favourite stories, sort of Glasgow lore. So Chris McArthur Boyd and Liam have mentioned it on their podcast Enjoy an Album, but it's actually your story to tell, Amelia, from when you worked in Peace about a famous face that entered the building.
So basically, it's funny because this is like totally like grown arms and legs. Like I feel like, yeah, it's kind of silly. So I worked in Peace, a sandwich shop in Finniston, and the members of Belle and Sebastian used to come in all the time and get sandwiches.
What
Sorry,
was their order?
I'm going to struggle. Unlike CMB that does this as a bit sometimes, I'm probably going to struggle to keep a straight face.
Do you remember what they got? Was that a chicken ole?
Yeah, probably chicken ole.
Classic.
Although I'm sort of thinking they might have gone for a veggie vibe, but you know, that's you sort of think
They seem like
they
vegetarians,
seem,
but I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But so he always come in, and there was one member of the band that was like did a shit in Peace.
And the
The
toilet.
shop,
was
the shop, not the
Short
concert.
piece, no idea. I shit in peace.
In the like, we had like a toilet that was basically a staff toilet, but you know, people would use it.
Yeah.
We'd kind of be like, it's that way, and it honestly, it was bad. Like it was.
Well, that's like maybe like a vegan vegetarian
Yeah,
shit.
it was grim. But then after that, like whenever anybody was like,
but did they just come in and just for that, or did they buy a sandwich?
I have a feeling on that day, maybe.
You didn't buy a sandwich.
You wouldn't bring your
Can't
sandwich
remember.
in with you, would you?
No. Not if that's what you've got planned.
I can't really remember.
The
But
trick is what you do is
While
you
it's-
order,
yeah, exactly.
then you go to the
Go
bathroom and then you
come
pick
back.
up and away it. That's what you should have done, but
Yeah.
you never done it. So you just came in, went, can I use the bathroom? Went in, done his business and left.
I feel like that's what happened. But then at the same time, maybe I'm just traumatized. So like my memories.
Like a PTSD
blanking
thing.
stuff out. But and then after that, every time anyone was like going for a shit, my friend Lucy that worked there came up with, she'd say, I'm just going for a Belle and She's like the funniest person ever, and like definitely like should be a comedian, you know. But yeah, so she would say that and it became a thing. But then I told CMB this on a train journey from like Edinburgh to Glasgow, and
He's a big Belle and Sebastian head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of hipster's choice.
One of the
isn't it?
Belle and Sebastian mob, as we've been
Well,
called.
that's what I'd never knew who Belle and Sebastian were. And Des McLean at a gig says, we always need to get one of you wee Belle and Sebastian guys on. And I'm like, I don't even know what
Such
that
a
means.
funny
I think
reference.
that's his reference for like new.
It was
young
me,
people.
you, and CMB basically. Who was referring to it. Like,
They've only been around for about 30 years.
but that's they were before our time. That's why.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you were telling this to Chris on the train.
yeah, and then he like thought it was funny, and then he was doing a gig, and someone from Belle and Sebastian was in the audience,
Oh shit!
and he told that story,
Oh,
and he
no.
said, "My friend, who's a comedian who works in Peace, told me this." But this is the thing. So I didn't know that he'd done that bit, right? But I went into work, like oblivious that this had happened, and someone came in from Belle and Sebastian, or like who worked for them, and said, like, I've got something to tell you guys. I was at this gig last night, and this guy said, like, my comedian friend like, told us that you guys call, like, doing a shit at Belle and Sebastian, and I honestly went into, like, serious, like, blank face mode. Like, you know when you just, like, really have to, like, lie? Do you know what I mean? And I was just like...
It's her! I've always said she should be a comedian.
But I was like, well, nobody else in this shop does comedy, do you know what I mean? So I just denied it, and I went and, like, hid in the kitchen, but... Here's the thing, they had recently made the kitchen into like an open plan kitchen. So I couldn't like close the door. I just had to kind of like stand and like face the wall. But yeah, he used that as a bit, and I'm so glad because it's sort of like keeping it alive. Because me and that girl Lucy, we don't work at Peace anymore, and I think we used to have a lot more. I don't know. I sort of look back at that time. I used to be a lot more cheeky. Yeah. Like I used to always like. Whenever I used to do a bit about this, but whenever I used to like hand like a guy a sandwich, I would go, there you go, sugar tits. Like I just used to be more silly. And I think obviously since starting comedy, you're just a bit more careful. You don't want to come across as an arsehole, but I think I was an arsehole for about 3 years in that job.
I like to think that's what you said to the guy when you pointed him towards the toilets. Where's the bathroom? Just right through there, sugar tits.
But yeah, oh God.
But Peace does feel like if you work there, you have to be a bit cheeky. It's got that vibe of...
Yeah, but then I got reviews. So I got bad reviews. Like, I'm not like serious. And that's like only one job that I've had bad reviews. I've actually had bad reviews when I was a tour guide as well. Like specific, like... character assassination vibes, okay? So when I was in the sandwich shop, I got a review. It said that I was over familiar to the point of being rude. So like you said, like when people remember your order, that is like quite annoying, but we just remember personal stuff about people and like bring it up, you know. But I remember one time a guy was like, what are you up to at the weekend? And I said, I'm getting rattled in Paisley. Because I was going to go and get shagged in Paisley. And I thought that we were pals, you know, but so I used to be more like unhinged.
Coming for a fucking sandwich.
I mean, I was getting rattled in Paisley at the time, and like it was good times, you know, and like some of the best times of my life. But
did you use the word rattled to sort of soften the instead of saying?
I think it hardens.
I think that sounds more, but it was more accurately depicting what was happening.
I'm not being made love to in Paisley tonight.
There's no love making, but yeah. So I think I just took it too far. But then after that, right, because of these reviews, I just went really just boring. Like I just went dead inside. I was like, what are you up to at the weekend? And they'd be like, just going to see like my kids play football. I went, great. There's your sandwich. Because I just felt like I was going to get fired.
You went deadpan as a defence mechanism.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do in their stand-up, actually.
And there's a joke about pan bread in there as well, deadpan, isn't there?
I'm not quick enough for that, but you guys, I'm sure.
You work out. That's something Stu usually would.
Stu,
no bother
with that. On the ball with that.
Not got enough about it.
Come on, Stu. I got cocked in Peace big time.
Was it while she was getting rattled in face?
If I'd been there, I'm sorry, I had something on that day. But...
Just watching you making another guy's sandwich. I'm like, was that
in the open plan kitchen?
So basically I was in the queue. This was like 2-3 weeks ago or something like that. Was it?
Oh.
And so recent and
modern sandwich. A modern sandwich.
Yeah, it was. It was a chicken ollie.
Right,
it was
classic.
Nice. Went in, this guy in front of me, this big, tall, kind of really confident guy, kind of spoke like that, and he's like flirting with...
I forgot I seen it.
Chicken only, sugar tits.
It wasn't eugenics. And he was like flirting with every single member that he came across, like no matter who it was. He was like, oh hey, yeah, that's really cool, like I love your sandwiches and all that sort of stuff. And then he was flirting with someone to the point where I was like, I need to skip this guy and go pay for my sandwich. I'm late. So I skipped him, and then he came to the till and I was like, oh, sorry, on you go. You know, I just skipped you, on you go. And he's like, thanks, buddy, that's really kind of you. Man. He's like flirting with me, and I was like, that's good. Fair play, on you go. And then he starts flirting with the girl behind the till, and he's like, the sun was shining in, so he was like, it was in her eyes, so he would be like, let me do this for you. And he kind of stood in the way of the sun.
I hate this guy so much.
He's such a prick. And I was like, oh God. And he was like, so what are you doing after this and all that? And she was like, oh, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm going to the park, maybe eat this sandwich, maybe have a get together with a few chums. And I was just sitting there, and it was like, honestly, no word of a lie. Like 3 or 4 minutes, he's flirting with this person, and I'm waiting to pay for my sandwich.
That's fucking unacceptable.
It was horrible.
I would have left.
Because
I would honestly have walked out.
But I wanted my
mad.
sandwich. I couldn't
Yeah.
I hadn't paid for it yet. So eventually he left, and then she was like immediately like, "All right, what sandwich you get?" And then I was like, "Oh, do you want me to stand in front of the sun?"
just catch the top of my head. You'll still be.
I'll do this if you want. It was just horrible. Yeah.
I've got a bad thing in queues. I just feel like this always happens to me. Like, see, even not when you're standing in a queue for something, there's only one person serving, and then I'll get to the front, and then it's only when I become the next person that they'll then like, and I'm like, that person gets served. Then a second till person walks up. Now there's two, and so I've been waiting the whole time. There's only one, and then that happens to me all the time.
Yeah,
or somebody pure fannying about for ages in front of me and all that. And I'll
Have
get
your
all
shit
one
together.
time.
If we're all in this queue,
There
get
should
it
be a
fucking
fast lane.
together. Come
There should
on.
be a fast lane.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That
A
is like,
flirting lane and a fast lane. I would
Yeah.
be in the flirting lane, but
just yeah.
it's a lot.
Sometimes you just want to buy your sandwich and eat
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I mean? Get out. But sometimes you want to be flirt. I'm usually just trying to get my sandwich.
Not
hungry,
for your
boy.
own choice. Sounds it there.
I am in a long-term relationship, Mark, so
But there's nothing wrong with a wee bit of interest, just to know that you're still an option for people, they still see you as a sexual being.
it's an ego thing, isn't it, I suppose. So it feels nice to have your ego caressed sometimes.
So does that, see having reviews like that in those jobs, does that make you a bit more, like, does that give you more fortitude whenever the prospect of a comedy review comes up?
It's funny because when you're sort of like, you want to be reviewed in comedy a lot of the time, like, I just want people to come and see my show, but I feel like I've had more reviews just in my normal jobs than my actual like fringe shows. Like when I was a tour guide, someone said like a guy just hated the tour that I did. I was like, because I didn't really know anything about history, so
Was it a historical tour of Edinburgh?
yeah, historical tour of Edinburgh. I used to wear this like tartan suit because I thought that would make me look legit.
Yeah.
And I think I used to change my accent as well. I'd be like, "Welcome to Edinburgh." Just a slight, so it
not
was like,
bad.
Slight, I think that's quite a drastic change of from your normal accent.
I mean, you've lived here for years, though. It's not
Yeah.
Have you got Scottish family? No.
yeah. So my mum's like Scottish, and my dad's family are from New Zealand, and they live in Wimbledon.
Right.
So they moved from New Zealand. They're kind of crazy. Like they're very eccentric.
And when did you move up here?
So I moved to Scotland when I was 9.
All right.
Yeah. So
You've had more than enough time to get this accent down.
yeah, I know. I do actually change it a lot, like in taxis and stuff.
Do you?
Because I just feel like I just feel embarrassed. But then I'll forget, and then as I leave, I go, "Thank you." So I need to sort of be consistent. But I did that last night after a gig. I was like, "Just to govern, please." And then when I got out, I went, "Bye," and I was like, "Oh." But the review I got for tour guiding said if Amelia would stop acting the goat. Not in the
greatest
good
of all
way.
time.
Not in the good goat way, like old school acting the goat.
Acting the gods really changed this.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
a
this
180
guy
that
was
phrase.
kind of like old school, and then he was like, she would get more respect as a tour guide. So
What did she mean by acting the gods?
Were you wearing your sausage roll costume?
no, I mean maybe I would have got more respect if I dressed as like a Greg's item. I should have worn that on this actually. But yeah, I think I was just trying to I can't remember it anymore, like, but I just used to try and like make jokes and stuff and like I basically did like a historical tour like it was like a 2-hour fringe show. But that was just a coping mechanism because I really just don't know anything about history and I just needed to get the money. Do you know what I mean?
You got to throw some gags in if you don't know the
Yeah.
facts. Otherwise, what is it?
To kind of fill time. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'll do a 3-minute bit. I honestly can't remember any of it now. Do you know when you like leave a job and you just instantly forget everything because you don't need to know it anymore?
I think Burke and Hare have emptied my mind as well,
That's a good one. If I go back to that, I'll go.
Yeah, that was fine.
But
Did you do the graveyard and Harry Potter kind of thing?
God, yeah, the Harry Potter one was grim because obviously I don't agree with J.K. Rowling's views. She's a fucking asshole. But also, like,
What has she been talking about?
but also, it's like you're just walking around Edinburgh and trying to like make these tedious links.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, it's like she once wrote in that cafe or whatever, and it's just you're kind of having to sell it so much. And I feel like if you show signs of weakness, like you kind of like lose people
Yeah.
and stuff.
Because
But yeah.
there's a place, is it like Potter Row or something?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the tunnel? And it's is that the tunnel towards like Gilded?
yeah.
And it's got
yes.
nothing to do with Harry Potter. I
No,
don't
that's
think.
just an old.
But I'm
Do
sure.
people claim that's about
Like-
Harry Potter because it's called Potter Row?
Yeah.
That's a whole 10 minutes of the tour on that. So I swear to God, you would be
Victoria
like,
Street's a big one, isn't it?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I used to, when I worked at the Harry Potter escape room, this is what you learn. The Harry Potter industry really holds up all comedians and Edinburgh.
This is opposite ends of the Harry Potter spectrum. You've
Yeah,
got people
across the
contained
barricades,
in a room, and you've got them out and about.
Yeah, I don't want them loose. I
Like
used to
with
have
their
to,
broomsticks and that shit.
when it was like a shite shift and there was no games, and they'd make me put a cloak on, have this like tray with like fucking chocolate frogs on it and like cards, so like the flyers or whatever. And I used to have to go up, walk through the town wearing it, which was fucking embarrassing. I've been on the telly and shit at this point. And I used to have to stand outside that Pizza Express on the corner and flyer the end of that, because that's where the tour would finish. And they'd be like, Victoria Street was the inspiration for Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
I've never even seen or read, I don't know anything.
Is that true? No, probably not.
Not because when Alex used to do it, he'd say, who's in Planet Caramel sketch group, he'd be like, yeah, it was the inspiration for Diagon Alley. There are other Diagon Alleys though, as if he knows that they've all read about all the other ones, because there's like one in Oxford and blah blah blah.
Right.
Do you
It's a
know
lot of
anything
shite.
about
Yeah,
Harry
it is.
Potter? Like, because you said didn't know about history, but do you at least know about Harry Potter?
Do you want to know something actually mental that I don't think I've like said on a podcast before? Like my granddad was the Bloody Baron in Harry Potter.
What?
Like he
I
was one
forgot
of
you're
the
from
ghosts.
acting stock.
He was one
Yeah.
of the ghosts. Like
Oh,
that's
was
what, yeah. So he like flew in and like.
Please tell me this came up in the tour.
Well,
You're
I
not
used to
sitting
say
on
that
that.
to try and get people on side,
Wow.
but that was my only.
Don't
point.
you know who my granddad is?
Yeah.
You only
wish-
got this tour guide because
was-
your granddad
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the bloody baron.
That was before like the nepo baby craze, but yeah, definitely. I think they.
Amelia's only getting that 40 quid gig in Hamilton because her granddad was in the fucking Harry Potter films. Come on.
I'm sort of like the worst nepo baby ever.
So is it?
Actually, about the Bloody Baron, because see in school they used to read us the books in primary school, and the Bloody Baron was a chapter, and she was a wee girl started crying because she thought she kept swearing, like calling this Bloody Baron,
Aye.
and a wee girl started crying, and then we had to stop reading the Harry Potter books
Oh,
because
what
of
a
that.
Oh my
I know.
god,
Fuck's
Piece of
sake.
shit. I still don't know the ending of it.
it's not great.
No, it's a film now.
Yeah.
Is your granddad been on anything else?
He was in Life of Brian.
Was he?
Was
yeah, he said, "I'm Brian, and so's my wife." That was his line. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
I'm probably gonna get like fucking like shit for this now. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just so you know, this hasn't given me any career.
Yeah. We can all vouch for the fact this has done nothing for Amelia's career.
Yeah, if you
She's
guys
still
could all
here.
say that.
Yeah.
Died on my ass in Cumbernauld a week ago. Like,
Oh, what was it? Did you not say you got recognised after it as well?
oh shit, yeah.
We were doing that gig together.
Yeah.
You did, by the way, I was Dublin, so I never seen your set, but I didn't have a great one either. And it
It's
just
a tough gig, that.
it's just
tough.
an
It's
older
not
audience.
enjoyable.
I just, it was a theatre. It was a theatre in a theatre, small theatre with a lot of older cunts that live in Cumbernauld. And basically, if you live in Cumbernauld, you should kill yourself. So, unless you're listening to this, you're in Cumbernauld, or just move from Cumbernauld. That's what I'm saying.
I love
Anyway,
me.
all I'm saying is, don't take it personally, even though I
come
clearly
in
have.
peace.
We're both still talking about it. It's been 2 weeks. I'm
What
still
happened
talk-
again, though?
So a guy heckled me, but like I didn't know what he was saying. I was just talking about this song that I wrote about this guy that had greasy hair, and this guy heckled me, and he went, "Ugh." And I honestly didn't know what he was saying. Have you ever had a heckle when you're just like,
Yeah.
See,
I
I've had it in that room
don't
at Cumbernauld.
know
I had a 15-minute
what-
tedious conversation with this guy that was
probably
heckling as well,
same
but he was
guy.
so drunk I could never actually work out what he was saying.
turns out it was a place name. I still don't really know what
Alright.
place it was. Maybe like Carluke or just something that was like, "Ugh." And then honestly, when I was doing my last song, I don't know if I was hallucinating this, but I did feel like someone was like heckling me, giving me directions to the exit of the venue. Like being like, it's just out the door on the left-hand side, hen. Like, just but then I'm like, how much that is a hallucination? But obviously we left that gig and then I know this sounds bad, but I was happy that you said it was tough because
Yeah,
it
no,
made
no,
me
that's
feel
absolutely.
better.
Yeah,
And I was
I'm in
like,
the same boat.
ooh, I was like, thank God. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. But fucked it. But the next day I was working at a pizza van at the big feed in Govan.
Yeah.
And I was just having a laugh. And I told my colleagues, by the way, I died on my ass in Cumbernauld last night. And like we were having a little laugh about it. But I thought I'm just gonna have fun today. I'm just working at this pizza van. Don't need to even have chat anymore. Do you know what I mean? I was having zero chat with customers, like seriously just. And then this guy came up to me and he looked at me and he went, do you do stand-up? And I was like, yeah. And he went, were you gigging in Cumbernauld last night? And I was like, that was honestly the worst gig of my whole life. And then he was like, oh, you were good, but that guy was an asshole. I was like, no, I can guarantee you that I was not good.
The guy was me. That guy then is an arsehole. The heckler.
Yeah, I think so. But I was just, and then I was like, how tragic as well, just to be seen at a pizza van after that as well. Like, it's like
yeah, the illusion of like I'm on stage here.
I've had that. I died at Monkey Bar before they had the venue years and years ago at the Beehive when I was just new, and you were doing these pretty horrible stag do things. And I think I had a really rough one. And then I was working the next day at an escape room, and a stag do that was at the gig the night before, and they recognised me. Like, I've got to be in character as a fucking astronaut for an hour now.
It's horrible.
That's thing.
It's grim.
See, when you have a bad gig, like, you just try and brush it off and you go, right, hopefully I'll just never see these people again. But then see, whenever you meet somebody down the line, they come up and they go, oh, I was at that gig you done there, and you went, oh my god, that was a shit.
Oh, your hair stand up on end.
It's like, oh my god, that's their last memory.
It's never a good one.
No, I've never had anyone say I saw you at a gig and it was good.
It's quite grounding because I doubled at the Glee. I was opening the Glee that night on the Saturday, and it was probably one of the best gigs I've had in ages. And that way you come out and you're like, fucking
easy. That's
superstar.
The fucking best ever. And then go in and I'm just like, fuck it. You just go in a theatre in Cumbernauld like fucking an hour later going, all right, this isn't as funny as I had hoped. But,
1 minute you're the goat, the next you're acting the goat.
That's good. How are you so quick with this stuff? It's amazing. I don't know how you do that.
To have live reaction.
You remembered something from earlier. I honestly don't get how people do that.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I don't know how he does it, to be honest. Although the excuse I give for not being as quick is because I'm always constantly worried about the fucking cameras and mics not being on.
Mark's always got a 1,000-yard stare, just checking everything's on.
I just looked into the camera.
I've not got an excuse.
Sweating as well. Ever since I said about being rattled and pacey, I was like, that's oversharing. But I feel less weird about that than talk about my granddad. How weird is that?
Really?
That's mental. I could talk about getting absolutely pumped, but just anything to do with family, I'm like, oh fuck.
But you're quite an open book though. I don't know if it's just because we're pals, but like we always end up talking about too personal stuff and unhinged chat. Yeah. But I don't know how much you want to bring onto the podcast. Because if you want to hear two unhinged people chatting, listen to my episode on Amelia's podcast.
Oh yeah, no, that was mega unhinged, but I can't remember why. That's the thing. But people listen to it. Like a lot more people listen to that than other episodes. I think it was some Love fans actually that wanted to hear like the sort of deep dive on your personal life. It's supposed to be a podcast about clothes as well, but it always ends up being like talking about relationships and shit. So,
Well, do you want to talk about your clothes? I was saying earlier, it's very fruit salad vibes.
Yeah, I think I didn't plan that, but
for the audio listeners, can you describe what you're wearing, Amelia?
A pink tracksuit from H&M.
What material is that?
It's almost
It looks very
like
comfy.
Sweatshirt material, you know, like, and it's kind of baggy. And I'm wearing these like really big gold earrings that say babe on them. I bought them after
If it wasn't for your accent, Amelia, people would think you're a heavy bam. It's cultural appropriation, actually.
I would say this is giving like noughties energy. Like I'm dressed. This is like inspired by like, you know, like Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, The Simple Life. Do you know what I mean? It's
They've
like,
all been rattled in Paisley.
Yeah. But the earrings, I've actually bought them after that Cumbernauld gig, and I thought I'm going to wear these for every gig until I die because they make me feel powerful. Do you know what I mean?
It's giving Pat Butcher.
Babe.
Yeah.
They make me feel like a babe, but they do actually make my ears quite sore because they're quite heavy.
I was going to say,
my ears
painful.
are quite red, so I'm just, but yeah. Pink's my favourite colour, and this is my new favourite gig outfit. I thought I'd try and just dress how I want to dress on stage because sometimes I think I'll wear like a boiler suit because I think, oh, that makes me look powerful.
That's scary.
Yeah, only wankers wear them.
You've got many different iconic stage looks though. And when I was on your podcast, not to bring it back, but Amelia let slip. In fact, as we were doing it, she was talking about having a piano tie and she said that she thought about killing herself with it.
I just came into
She had
about
an
you on the
impulsive
pod.
thought.
I was like, Stu, I've just kind of been in the daydream. I was imagining hanging myself with my piano tie. But it did come into my head because it's like, sometimes you just get stuck wearing the same shit, you know what I mean? So I think that was part of it. I felt like I couldn't not wear it, and it's kind of annoying me. Like, it just felt a bit trashy, but it worked for the Fringe, worked after the Fringe, but then sometimes you just think I need to change it up. It's like when you do the same bit of material and it starts dying.
Yeah.
Like, I get that with clothes, but I think I've obviously emphasized clothes way too much. Like, I'll do a new
They're a lot
material
bigger
night.
part of your act than most.
Yeah.
The clothes are part of it.
But sometimes I'll do a new material night and I'll be like, I'm not even trying new material, I'm just trying a new outfit to see what the audience think. And
Do you remember when we did a gig together at the Fringe in the big room at the Hive? Amelia had been on first, but she left her she had a bag with a sausage roll, Greg's costume in it, and she left it on the stage. And I was competing, and she was like, I've got to get that bag, I need to go. And there was like another act, she was like, can I grab it while they're on stage? She was trying to like crawl in to get her sausage roll costume up the stage.
that was a really sweaty gig.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. It was really sweaty and it was like very, like, I just felt very anxious.
And
Yeah.
can you talk us through the sausage roll outfit, please?
God, I don't know.
We need a
I
deep dive
don't know what
into
that's
this.
so in lockdown, did like a stream called The Vibe Show, which was actually pretty fun, and like I
On
feel like
Twitch.
it was quite a like, when you just get into like a creative phase and you feel like you're on one. I feel like you guys have this with this podcast where you're just like in with the flow, you just like know what it is, clear about it, clear vision, all that kind of stuff. So I felt like that. But it developed quite naturally. Like, it was like I started streaming and then I was like, I'm gonna do like a breakfast show, like the Big Breakfast or something. But it was at 9 a.m. like every day for a while, and it like had features. Like, one of the features was nut free spread of the week. I've got a nut allergy, so it was Biscoff every week, Biscoff spread or
I was going to
butter.
say, is there a lot of them?
No, I ended up like 1 week it was like lemon curd. I was like, this needs to end. That's not a nut free spread. Like, that's, but yeah, and then we would write like songs on the stream. Like, so I'd have GarageBand and I would like produce a song and I'd ask people for suggestions, and like we would improvise a lot of stuff. So it was like very creative and fun. But one time we did the Greg song and it was like this almost like happy hardcore like rave banger. Like, when you listen to it, it's just like full like almost Hoover sound, which is like a big sound in that like genre, right? And then it just goes like Greg's. It's a banger. Like, very catchy, but eventually if a song became like a classic on the stream, this sounds so egotistical. Like, I am aware, I'm like, when a song becomes a
Behind the
classic,
music,
yeah.
What would it? How do you define a classic
You
for the
just,
stream?
it's weird because
It's
like
a
when you're
feeling it gives, isn't it?
streaming,
It's a
yeah,
feeling.
you sort
We're
of
now
get
getting into Diary of a CEO territory.
My one success was this stream, and then I like left. Like almost like Wolf of Wall Street energy. Is this like Leonardo DiCaprio Leave or something? I don't
I'm
know.
not
It's the
fucking
only
leaving,
film
that
I've
kind
seen
of thing.
in the past 10 years. But yeah, basically that became a banger. You can tell because people would like request it and stuff, and like
Aye.
people would like when it was sung like put like flame emojis in the chat or something. It's different from when you're doing well at a gig.
Yeah.
But also it can be deceiving because then you can take it outside of that context and do it at a live gig and then it fucking dies, you know? So, but then whenever it was like a banger, I would buy a costume to match it and make a background. So the Greg song became that. And that's one of the only ones that was really like, I still do.
And it's a sausage roll outfit.
Yeah. Because I remember you were wanting to borrow it for this podcast.
Yeah, I ended up getting
For
the hot
Halloween.
costume.
Yeah.
I ended up
Oh, for
you out of
the
time.
hat,
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
remember because you said in that episode, you're like, Amelia, friend of the pod. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I've made it.
And now you're here.
Yeah,
This is
I'm
it.
shouting
Look how far
about
you've come.
shit. I'm shouting into the microphone. Mad shit.
Did you make the costume?
No, it was actually from like, it's actually really hard to get sausage roll costumes, can I just say, because you basically have to like beat stag do's to like a bidding war.
Stag do's an alternative musical comedian.
It's very difficult. So I bought that and I thought I lost it, and then it was like sold out everywhere. And then I got it back somehow. Someone messaged me like, I found your sausage roll costume. Like, it was a whole thing. But yeah, I've got the only one in Scotland.
Amazing.
Nice.
There should be more. You should bring out your own range of sort of
That could be merch, yeah.
costumes.
I like the chicken bake, so I would make a chicken bake costume. You'd only know because they have like different patterns on them.
Yeah.
That's how you
It's
know.
quite niche.
Yeah.
I would get a Baguette Express costume.
Can't wait to
Chicken
see
tikka.
that. Can't wait to see that. You guys should do like a Halloween live show and wear costumes.
We should.
That would be so
Yeah.
cute.
It's an idea.
Last time you went full for the Halloween one, you went green face and all that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when that's cancelable in a few years' time.
Do you think?
Doing green face or whatever, but no, that was good. No, I would like I'd like to do it'd be good to do a live Halloween one. Big give us an excuse to dress up. So
Pop a pin in that
stay
idea.
tuned. Tickets available to patrons first.
We were also talking about earlier, so I picked you up in the car and we were saying, what do you want to talk about? What do you don't want to talk about? And you guys have spoke about this of what is it called? So your relationship type. Is that
Amelia's
right?
obsessed with attachment types.
Attachment type. Okay.
And when we had a
It's so
7-hour train
cringe.
journey
It's so
recently, so I
cringe.
did mine.
Is this anything along the lines of love languages, or is there something?
So
different?
love languages are different, but they're both important, I would
Oh,
say.
I thought you were going to say fake.
No, I'm obsessed with stuff like this. Love language is like different. Love language is like when you're in a relationship, how do you like to
Communicate.
show love and receive love? So it
Right.
can be like gifts, physical touch, time spent together. And it's good if you're compatible with your partner. But yeah, attachment
attachment is
theory.
different.
So you can have different attachment styles. So you're secure. You won. Secure is the best. That means you're just chill.
So that's
I don't
Easy
get
peasy.
it.
secure attachment. So it's like you don't care what they're doing and they don't care what you're doing.
Well, that sounds a bit bleaker than how I remember it on the,
Sounds
on the
quite
quiz.
I don't think he's won, actually.
I think it's more just like you.
You're not worried
Secure to
about
the
it.
point of being coming across as permanently aloof.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it's like being secure. It's just like I know this is going to be all right. You're not going to leave me. But anxious
Yeah.
attachment, I feel like that's what I have. I lost, so that's when you need a lot of like
I lost.
reassurance. Like I'm
Wasn't
just
a
like I'm
competition, was
like
it?
reassure. I'm like, am I okay? Is this okay? Do I look hot? Do you know what I
The
mean?
funny
Like,
thing is as well, because you answer these questions, it's like, in your relationship or your last relationship, and I'm answering questions about one where they did fucking leave me, but the question is like, were you worried that they were going to leave me? I was like, no.
Did he see it coming, mate?
I
better
wasn't
to be
worried at the time.
confident though, I think, and just go with the flow rather than just sort of being anxious that someone's going to fuck off the whole time. Do you know, it gives a bad energy.
Yeah, and I would love to see these guys'
Yeah,
attachment
I'd
styles.
like, what do you think?
do you wanna
Are
do
you
the- do the
quite like
quiz?
What are the
secure?
options?
So I think there's anxious, which is that one where you kind of like worry about the relationship, like worry, oh, is everything all right?
Which
Like
is yours,
they've
right?
not texted me, that means that they're dead. Or like, do you know what I mean?
they
Or
hate
they
me.
hate me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or like just going through stuff like, oh my God, I did something wrong. Like, do you know what I mean? Like ordered them the wrong pizza, just like mad shit, basically. Like just really like it's quite draining. And I think you're more likely to have an anxious attachment style if you've had like a sort of chaotic childhood. So like my
Right.
parents got divorced, my dad moved on very quickly, new family,
Your grandpa
etc.
was the bloody bad.
I know, my
Yeah.
granddad's a fucking
There's a little comment
How about
box where you type in stuff like that.
Slytherin, he's a Slytherin ghost, emotionally unavailable. Like, and then that sort of fucked the rest of the family up. So,
They're
and
toxic Slither, even I know that.
toxic energy. So that's why I'm into emotionally unavailable people, because my granddad.
So does if you're an anxious type, should you be with an anxious type or should you
No,
be with
that's
secure?
bad. But if
Or-
you're with someone that's secure, it can actually work out. So it's good.
but
Yeah.
then does the secure get annoyed about the anxious?
Yeah, hopefully not.
And then what's the other one? Avoidant. is the other one.
Avoidance, when you're just kind of like never like really, if you get too close, you kind of go, oh fuck that's too intense.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Is that you give that energy? Like, I feel like I knew that would be your vibe for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm
So is there only
interested in
3
that.
types?
No, there's also one that's like a mixture between anxious and avoidant. So I don't really know.
I think that's me.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you like in relationships?
Get Catherine on, she'll tell us.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty like I'm
Oh,
like
you're gorgeous.
too quick still. You're too quick. No, I think I'm quite like that. Like sometimes secure and then sometimes anxious. I don't know. I don't really know. I'd need to see the questions.
The quiz
to-
is intense.
It's not like
Is it?
anything. It's not going to be as cut and dry.
Yeah.
as
Right,
this
it's
is.
a
Yeah.
spectrum,
Uh-huh.
probably, I imagine.
I've been
Yeah.
all three.
I think
Same, probably, actually. But at the moment, I'm anxious as fuck.
Oh, you've just
Cut this out.
Okay.
No, don't.
that was actually going to be my question because see if you have had a history of being anxious, and particularly if you've maybe had a relationship that, you know, somebody's fucked you over or whatever, and then they've sort of, you know, it's hard not to take that into the next relationships. But see if you then, you know, start going with somebody and you're in a comfortable relationship, can you not kind of overcome that natural tendency, or is there part of you that's always still like that?
I think it just takes a bit of time to like heal, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird though, because I think sometimes it's not even to do with like past relationships, it's actually to do with childhood shit. Right. So sometimes, you know, like in like that threat brain, like always looking, oh, that person's gonna leave. It's literally because my fucking parents got divorced, you know what I mean? And my dad left. So I think,
is that a Freudian look at the world?
I don't think it's Freudian. Is it Freudian? I don't know.
I'm talking to Mars here, but
I don't know.
I think that's the thing.
So you're saying
Freud emphasised the childhood. I know it's like shagging them on and stuff or whatever, but it's the.
You said that so quickly, shagging them on.
I know that's the thing.
You're anxious that she doesn't love you back.
You know, I'm anxious that I'm going to get the jail for killing my dad. But I think that people say that's one like psychological sort of school is that it's all an emphasis on childhood, and there is. I think that has an impact. You know, regardless, people would not argue, but I wonder whether it is always that, or whether you can overcome
nature
it.
versus nurture.
Yeah,
that's what you've certainly found anyway.
I like to.
Well, I think the person I'm with at the moment is secure, so I feel like most of the time it is really good, but occasionally I just like get anxiety. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm just like, oh my god, he's not texting me back. Like it's because I'm a piece of shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just pure negative thoughts, but then it is all right. Yeah.
Can I bring up the flame emojis?
No, this is so bad.
Am I allowed to or not? Oh,
like,
you say it.
Well, you say it, but...
Well, this was during...
It's Stuart's telling all your best stories.
It's during Incelgate when we were in Birmingham. She's chaining monsters. But, so she was unhinged, but... Let me get this right. So she...
This is so bad.
Amelia's boyfriend is a DJ. Fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's by the by. But
didn't explain that.
Amelia has a boyfriend. Guessed. Yeah, I mean, look at her.
I love DJs. That's my type. Like, if you actually got all my partners, that was like the most common thread.
Banging playlist.
DJ.
Yeah.
But like they've got progressively more like hard genres. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like started with like soul and disco. Now it's like fucking happy hardcore, which is an intense genre of music.
Is it?
Would recommend.
Ever like a wee radio DJ, like a morning breakfast show kind of George Bowie kind of person?
George Bowie is cool because I actually saw him the other night DJing. He always goes, it's time to lose your it says like go wild right about now. For some reason he always says that. I'm like,
he wasn't flirting in peace by any chance, was he? Yeah, and you know, you said you're more vocal on social media about him than he is about you.
Yeah.
And she got the hump the other night. She'd left flame emojis on one of his pictures, and she got anxious about the fact that she was displaying more than him, and she went back and she deleted all the flame emojis and unliked a bunch of his pictures.
No, and then I was like, fuck. But then I actually look back and I sort of think, I think the can of Monster had something to do with that.
That was the monster talking.
It was the Monster, and I was like, I actually got my period like a week later, and I was like, oh no, this is definitely like asshole, because I feel like I wouldn't do that otherwise. But yeah, I feel like in relationships, I don't know how you guys are like, but I think there's always like one person that's like more like social media vibes, and one person who's like more private. And I've definitely become more private since this relationship. But yesterday I did do, I think it was a soft launch. You can tell me what you think. Right. Okay. So this is a soft launch maybe, but you said it was a hard launch. So we can decide. Basically, I posted a video of like a toasty that my boyfriend had made me, and it just said a week. So stupid.
It's always gonna be a snack.
It was like, it's been a week since I made this like I can't remember how I described the toasty. I think
iconic,
fundamentally iconic.
Yeah, fundamentally iconic toasty. And then that was it. Like no tag. His face isn't even in it. You just hear his voice going, "I hope you love it." And then I'm like, "Oh, that's so cute." And I was like, #blessed, right? That is all I've posted really about my relationship. But I said the word BF. So I'm like, is that a hard launch or a soft launch?
Soft.
Because you said it was hard, but I'm like, well, you don't. It's like there's no tag, there's no.
It's a launch, that's for sure.
It's a launch,
but hard would be face.
It'd be easier to tell if it's soft or hard if it was a role that he had made you. And then you just go on.
R.I.P. Martin's not going to sponsor us after all.
Crispy lunch.
Crispy lunch. Do you? How
A well-fired
soon?
lunch.
But like, how soon? Because have you posted about your like significant others on social media now and in the past, and how quickly do you do it? What is normal, and I want to hear like a guy's perspective on this, because
How long did it take you?
Maybe about a year.
a year, right? Okay.
Quite a long time, I think.
I don't think I'll ever do it. I'll get a brand to protect. I'm like somebody if you take that one direction.
I like that.
Create the illusion that I'm
That
saying.
is the thing as well. Like doing comedy, my social
Right.
media is for like comedic purposes or
Yeah.
plugging a gig or that. So it's
Yeah.
not usually personal stuff. So that's why I don't do it as much.
But you do it sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
if it's like Valentine's
gunpoint.
Day or
Yeah, the
Christmas or
holiday
something.
season.
The holiday
Yeah,
seasons.
would you ever do matching pajamas at Christmas?
No,
No.
no,
Well, let's wait and see.
not in my.
I can envision it.
No, because she asked if we could do it, and I said no. I was like, no, I don't.
That's the line.
Steve's
the line.
girlfriend was going to unlike all his fucking Instagram pictures.
I didn't even like that W. Smith fucking skit.
Do you guys think that I'm unhinged as fuck for deleting the flame emojis?
Can I tell you my perspective?
Oh
on
yeah.
Come on.
from experience of second guessing yourself, I think it's I don't think you should second guess yourself. I think you should just leave it up there, because the thing is, right, see if you do it and you're in a moment of like you're in a moment of, you know, you let your emotions get the better, or you go, I'm going to do this. Once you've done it, just do it.
Yeah.
I remember like I'd sent, and like quite kind of like I'd met up with somebody that I'd not seen for a long time, and we hung out and stuff, and then I sent like a nice just, oh listen, it was dead nice to see, blah blah, and then they never fucking read it for like a day, and that whole day I'm like kept going in and looking and going, should I unsend, because now you can do that on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh no,
should-
yeah. On Instagram, it actually just disappears. Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
does it say
Yeah.
this message has
They'll
been
have
deleted?
seen that you messaged.
I guess they'll have maybe come, but I was just
Yeah.
like, should I? And I was like, and I was tuning for it, and I went, do you know what, just as well, and if they don't fucking whatever, and they eventually got back and it was fine, right? But I think you need to, like, you just need to stick by your guns, because ultimately, like, you know, you want to be who you be, and you don't, like, if you start second guessing yourself all the time, then you're going to constantly, that's a never ending game. And even with the texting thing, like, I remember years ago, I was like, there was a girl that I really fancied, and I kind of felt she wasn't as into me, right? And I remember, like, I was on the bus or something, and she texts me back, and then I'm like, that decision of like, do I text straight away, or do I wait and like play it cool? But then I'm like, right, I'll wait and play it cool. But then I'm starting to go, but if I wait, what if in the intervening period between me not
Another
texting,
guy texts
some
her.
other guy's texting, and he gets in, blah, blah, blah. And then I just realised in that moment, I was like, I've already lost here, because I care too much. I'm not being authentic to myself, and I'm trying to second
in your
guess
head.
what the right strategy is. And that's never going to be a path to happiness, particularly in a relationship. You just got to be who you be. If you want to text back straight away, do that. If you want to play it cool, play it cool. But do it for, like, when you start putting what they think about you and about everything at the centre of it rather than what you think, that's when things start to go wrong. So I think
Let's wait and hear his
Well-
attachment style though first before we decide if that's good
Yeah,
advice.
no wait. But see, with the toasty video, that was actually a good thing for me, because I got over the fact that he was probably not going to post about me on social media for like a variety of like personal reasons. And I sort of got over that, and I posted. So even though it was a small thing, I felt like that was me going, do you know what? I'm just going to be me. And I am like very like cute and like gushy about stuff. Do you know what I mean? Is gushy even a word? That sounds intense.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. So I just thought,
sounds like the sort of thing you would say to
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
when you're serving them in
Gushy.
peace. Am I today gushy? Actually?
but yeah, so that was a good thing. But yeah, I do think that deleting the flame emojis was an extremely chaotic vibe. I'm going to have to go and put them back now.
Yeah.
I think that's the step where
You're creating more.
You're
hassle.
creating it.
Okay, guys, if you see that my Instagram is no longer searchable, it's because I have deleted it. Because that's the only way forward from here. But yeah.
I think Instagram's like the acceptable platform to be doing gushy sort of stuff.
Yeah.
innit? Like you can't be doing that on Twitter.
No,
really, can
Twitter's
you?
weird.
Fire emojis after a wee tweet about Shrek or something like that. Having shagging Princess Fiona as an ogre, like fire emoji.
Me and Steve have just taken our attachment style quiz.
Let's see if you're compatible.
The results in. Steve, do you want to go first?
Okay.
I'm scared.
Your attachment style is anxious. But there's more.
Oh.
And then it says
You're a nightmare in other ways as well.
it says but there's more, and it says to find out more pay £5.80.
Steve done the wrong quiz, basically.
You'll need to join the Patreon to give us the money to pay for
And
it.
I've only got 12 minutes to buy my personalised report. It's counting down. It's quite scary.
Oh my
God.
Can you flashbacks to that fucking porn laptop again?
Just bury his phone in the woods now, 'cause
Steve, you should go on and do the other one. Like, you should go on to the real one. Well, I'm telling mine if you want.
It
How
takes
long
a
does
while.
that? It took fucking ages, though, didn't it?
No, just
does it give
I'm
you like
so
a
happy that there's
details?
Got
another
some
anxious
details
person
and shit.
here, though. That
I
makes me
was-
feel good.
Well,
I don't think that was accurate. I think
Okay, that's fine.
I'm
You
sorry.
can
I'm,
just...
I'm not trying to distance myself from you. I mean,
Let's
don't
see
feel
what Mark
anxious
is.
about
It was the first one. It was the first one that came up to Google on an ad. It was personaldevelopmentschool.com.
I can't remember. I thought that was the one we did. I recognise the
School
Attachment
Attachment.
typeface.
style quiz. If you just type attachment quiz, it's the first thing that comes up in a sponsored ad on Google.
That's,
Funny if you
that's
got
the one
avoidant
that I
this
did.
time.
That would be funny, wouldn't
Attachment project.
With this one, no.
it? I can't believe
It's-
we did this on like the 7th hour of a journey.
Attachment.personaldevelopmentschool.com it's called.
How did we even do it when we were like traveling? Like, how did it get to that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how did
Have
it
you got
end
it?
up that we did a quiz?
Wait, let me send you the link or something.
I don't know. We'd burn through a lot of chat. to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What one did you get?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
killing me this
I
month.
can't
Design
believe you're
it.
like
I'm going to send Steve this and you can do this while I'm talking about this maybe.
Okay.
Right, hang on. There's the fucking chat. Right.
If I get
Follow this
anxious
link.
again, though,
Have you got that link?
you
Is
can.
that text through?
twice, then that's
Right.
like double anxious.
Oh, I'm going to need to go forward.
Okay. And is this the one you guys done as well?
Aye, this is the one Amelia done.
Couldn't
She said.
tell you.
I recognise the sort of purple
Sure,
vibe.
she's done all of them.
Right, it's good. It just still take you. It tells you how long you've got and stuff. So this is mine. You have a dismissive, avoidant attachment style.
You give that vibe, that
Really?
energy. Yeah.
What makes you say that, Amelia?
I'm
Sorry, you don't need.
trying to think what it is. I think like you just like give the vibe of like dating a lot, but like not committing with your material.
Well, that is.
You say
Do you
the
know what I
vibe, but it's
mean?
just
Yeah.
logistically what's been happening. That's
Yeah, I mean that is it. Well, you know,
I think
sometimes
like
it's not.
that's but then maybe it's like you've not met the right person either. So
also, you
that's me
focus on
being.
your career a lot.
This is true. Well, let's hear what personaldevelopmentschool.com has to say about it. So, your fear of vulnerability may be getting in the way of you forming healthy relationships that last. Okay, that's interesting. Fear of vulnerability is interesting. You like to do your own thing and value your freedom. That's correct. Space and independence. Yes.
Who doesn't like all
That's
this?
why I'm running for First Minister for the SNP. Because you thrive independently, correct. You value your time spent out of romantic relationships. You're a very logical and practical person when it comes to making decisions.
Why does this sound so good? Do you
Buttering
know what I
him
mean?
Get to the bit where he's a fucking nightmare.
And appreciate whenever people are direct, clear, and specific with what they need from you, be it at work or in your friendships, family, or romantic relationships. Identifying more as a thinker than a feeler, although, hey, listen. Depends on the
Good.
night.
I don't get it.
He's making this up. It's a little advert, Lonely Hearts thing.
You are much more comfortable expressing what you think about situations to friends and family than what you feel about them. Being vulnerable with others is difficult for you, and oversharing or being around intense emotions generally makes you feel uncomfortable. Sorry to break that to you, Amelia.
You can just leave and we'll finish the pod.
You feel a lot more in control and relaxed when you're able to choose when and where you'll be with people, how close and for how long.
In the car with me in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's it. And not a fucking second longer. So you've never been great at putting language to your feelings or sitting with them in the present, so you might have a tendency to escape into your work, books, podcasts. Oh my fucking god!
Wow.
How did I know all this?
Wow.
Video games, the news, or travel instead. Just get back to Australia, enjoying the more mental rather than emotional investments they require from you. There's only one more paragraph, so I'll just read it. Right. When it comes to romantic relationships, you can have a pretty hard time navigating them. They often feel overwhelming, and you can never quite understand what's expected from you.
It's the bad bit.
It seems like no matter what you do, you just can't meet someone who's as perfect as you. No, I'm not. It says no matter what you do, you just can't seem to get it right. Incredibly self-sufficient with an attitude that the only person you can rely on is yourself. Well, certainly when it comes to fucking doing this podcast, turn these cameras. You have a hard time believing that you should ever have to rely on a partner to meet your needs. When faced with the pressures of meeting someone else's needs, you feel suffocated. Long-term relationships and long-term commitments can make you feel trapped at one point or another, and you worry constantly that being involved might mean losing that independence that you value so much. That's, I've got to say, correct. Last paragraph. Your only strategy when you feel this inner conflict is to detach from others, distance yourself, and get very protective over your time and space alone. It's so common for you to go to great lengths to avoid letting people in that it can come across like you don't need your partner, friends, or family at all. The truth is, you do value their connection. You just feel wildly misunderstood and don't know how to get out of your head or let your guard down to truly connect.
Yeah, got a bit emo at the end there.
That is
How do you take that, Mark?
I've got to say, I would say for the most part, it's pretty spot on. I would say that I think there's stuff that like is that you could sort of read into it as like, oh, I can't let my guard. I think I can let my guard down and be vulnerable in the right environment. I just, to be honest, think I've not met the right person. I think the thing that really strikes is the thing about freedom and stuff. I do worry about that, is giving up freedom and stuff. Because to be honest, it's just so hard to succeed at comedy that like sometimes I worry when I'm spending time with partners or whatever that I'm taken away for that and that I should always be working or something. So there's a lot is true, but I would say don't let that put off potentially dating me. But yeah, I would say that's pretty true, and that's interesting that you picked up on that. You sort of guessed that would be my thing, so maybe that's the vibe.
There's something in it.
Yeah, but I would say probably true, and probably it does come from a bit of a fear of. I think a fear of getting into the wrong type of relationship as well. That one that would be that would be stifling or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting. I'll maybe need to take it on. What? Here's the thing, though. For these things, what can you then do with this information? Can you change it, or what have you done after realizing that you're an anxious one?
Well, it's kind of going, how much of this is like the energy the other person is bringing, and how much of it is just like going on. My head's just telling me lies. Like it's actually fine, you know. And I do feel like now I'm with someone that is secure. Like I do feel like I'm like healing, and it's really nice. It's like nice to be in like a safe relationship. And
what about me, Amelia? I'm standing here on my own. This website's no game, mate. It's like they've just like, here's fucking you, and what do you do with this information?
You're fucked. Good luck in the future.
What was yours? Did you say? What was your thing?
So avoidant, dismissive.
Dismissive avoidance.
I've found my second.
Your actual
what? You've got a second
I've
one
got
now.
A second
wow.
Stevie Pond
opinion
replay.
on this. First opinion was anxious. Second opinion. Fearful avoidance.
That's the opposite. That's the opposite
Fearful.
one.
I could have probably, those two adjectives are accurate, I would say.
Fearful and
funny
avoidant.
that
Yeah,
you-
does that mean that?
At least I'm dismissive avoidant.
What's
I'm not
the
fearing
difference?
it. Let's read what yours says then.
Well, it's quite long. Isn't it?
I've just read mine.
Your fear of betrayal may be getting in the way of you forming healthy relationships that last.
Imagine Catherine listened to this and left you.
That's playing up to his fear. That's what he's trying to avoid.
You are a passionate, empathetic person who has been through some big challenges in life.
Wow.
BBC New Comedy Award.
Yeah, exactly. That's a challenge. You might feel that your
that
life.
fucking hallway and he's fucking flattened.
You might feel that your life and relationships have always been a bit of a roller coaster. Because life is a roller coaster, baby. Just got to ride it. While you are very strong and independent, thank you, a part of you longs to have someone care for you the way that you care for others. And there's a lot more like that. I'm not going to read the
No, it's because I read mine out.
I'm not a strong public
This is
reader.
like sleepover vibes now. This is good.
Yeah, it's cute.
As
Do
a
you want me to
giving
read yours?
person. Okay. Sure.
If you like that. This is the
This is the
remainder.
dynamic here.
This is the remainder. So where did you get to the others right?
He's so fearful of the truth he can't even look at it.
This is fearful avoidance. No fucking trying to read this. Right.
You might be right.
I'm
actually.
secure enough to hear this or not hear it. I'm not bothered.
Right. Steve,
You're
as a,
anxious about this, Amelia.
This whole thing is freaking me out.
Steve,
It's dynamic.
as a giving person, you may find that you give until you burn out. This can cause you to feel overwhelmed by others in relationships and
that
even
makes-
resentful
that's
at times.
You're always
resent.
always give me lifts.
A
Actually.
a big trigger for you is the feeling of being taken advantage of. You're excellent at showing up for other people when they are going through
your
a hard
car.
time.
Yep.
And
In your
are
car.
always
When you
there
need
for
a lift
others
here.
to lean on,
go to football.
although not if they're too tall. And yet, you
I'm
may
fearful of just jokes like this. Getting hounded by short jokes all the time.
By people you trust as well.
Exactly.
and yet you may fear truly letting people in and depending on others, causing you to feel that relationships are one-sided at times. It can be hard for you to reach out to others to ask for help and support. In your romantic relationships, it can be difficult for you to trust that others will stick around in the long run.
I think something that just sums that up. Stu put his hand in my lap, and then I went to put my hand on his. And he took it away. So thank you.
Well, you may fear being abandoned or assume that relationships won't last because one of you will eventually get bored. You may also find that your fear of being lied to, cheated on, or betrayed in some way. This doesn't often happen until you deeply attach to
even
someone.
what you said.
But once you do, it can feel like you're always on high alert, waiting for the other shoe to drop. In the history of your romantic relationships, you may experience a lot of feeling hot and cold. One day, you may feel deeply connected and committed to the relationship, and the next, you may tell your partner that you're not going to take a selfie with the pajamas next to the Christmas tree. And it says, may feel really discouraged, frustrated, and withdrawn, fearful, avoidant attachment styles. That's FAAS. That's all in capital letters. Fearful, avoidant attachment styles often go back and forth in their mind between optimism and doubt when it comes to their relationships. This tends to happen most intensely when there is a deeper connection and the people are getting closer to you. It can be scary for you to trust others and let people in. This can lead to arguments, feeling like you're on a roller coaster in relationships,
That word
and
again.
feeling frustrated
It's a
and
roller
let
coaster.
down by the people you love.
Call me Ronan Keaton.
And then it says
Yeah,
get
this is
started.
Inferno,
So that,
isn't it?
I take it get started is where they fucking
Help
give
you.
if you want
How
the
much is it
fearful
now?
avoidant to securely attached program and all access pass. Only $67 US.
To
Steve.
solve all your problems.
That's a cheap price to pay to sort all your problems.
We
I
can take it
suppose.
out of the Patreon money.
Give me my phone.
That was
back.
interesting.
go.
Do you think that's accurate?
Don't know. Not all of it. No.
No.
But do you know? I would actually like to see. I'd like to see like they give you that diagnosis and then a celebrity who would be the same as you, so I
Yeah.
can just put it into context. Am I the same as Rylan or something like that, or like what you know?
How are you
who am I
going to know
like?
what they're really like?
Rylan seems pretty secure to me.
Yeah.
Let's not paint him with the same brush. Rylan's getting the pajamas on for sure.
This is so stupid. Like, who's
You might have
gonna be
invented
what?
Who's my celebrity?
Attachment buddy.
Yeah, that's what I want, and that's how I picture things. That's
Yeah.
What was it called again?
So you guys, so that was me and Stephen. What were you guys
Yeah,
against? You?
fearful.
Well,
avoidant.
when we did ours though after a 7-hour train journey, so
How can
maybe
you
I would
just be
be
secure?
secure.
What did
Maybe I'd
you-
be
I don't
secure
know.
if
It's
I
just
did
like
it
your
today.
grand
You know,
nice
Maybe.
one.
Aye.
I was
can't
had
remember what it
had a
said.
caffeine hangover and I was premenstrual, so maybe I'd be secure if I did it today.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
can change.
I'm definitely very secure. I'm just saying this for my boyfriend who's listening. I'm secure. I'm stable. I'm so.
Be good if by the time this goes out and they listen to it, you are both single again and me and Mark are shacked up in relationships.
Oh, don't. No, I'm actually going to worry about that. That'll be something I'll worry about now.
What were you again? You were fearful avoidant.
Yep.
Here's three options of celebrities that Steve is like: Kim Basinger, Donny Osmond, and your friend and mine, Whoopi Goldberg. I've always said he's like Whoopi.
Big
It's like
Whoopi
the
vibes.
Clydebank Whoopi.
Big Whoopi vibes. Yeah, I would agree with that. I love Sister Act.
What attachment style do you think Shrek has?
Oh, he's very avoidant.
Yeah,
isn't
He's
he?
avoidant.
distant, isn't he, Shrek?
What about
Very
Fiona?
distant.
Whereas
So
Donkey's
that's you.
anxious.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
So I'm Donkey.
Dismissive
You're Donkey.
You're
avoidance.
Donkey.
I
You're
get
Shrek.
that. He's always like trying to like. He's always like,
Yeah, where's this going,
Oh,
Shrek?
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
come with you?
God,
Fearful
wow.
avoidance, probably Lord Farquaad.
Do you think? You can't even say his name right. Lord Farquaad.
Love
No,
it.
Don't know who's secure in the Shrekiverse. The
No
dragon.
one.
Ginger
The
Fiona,
dragon.
Fiona, maybe?
Fiona, maybe. Yeah, she's cool, man.
Secure in her body.
Yeah.
No, because she freaked out, did she not? Because she thought fucking Shrek was talking about her and then she fucked off. She freaked out big time.
God.
I can't remember.
Anyway, well, that's maybe for another day.
Ginger
That would be a
man.
good
Also, we weren't
podcast
talking
to
about
say,
Shrek on
like,
here,
you know,
were we?
the, like,
Everyone's
No.
attachment
as the
style.
do attachment style as the character from a movie or something. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Different
that's,
quiz.
well, I've certainly learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
to mull over for sure.
I'm going to go
Definitely.
home and just worry now.
If you
for
get,
a
I know.
day.
So
Didn't get to talk to you about you living in Paris, you doing karaoke, hosting karaoke, being a DJ
hosted
yourself.
karaoke once, but we can
And I
say
was
that
there
that
to
was
see
a
it.
career
Let's see that. We could talk
choice.
about that.
How was Paris?
I lived in Paris when I was at uni, and I
Which is weird because you went to Glasgow,
I was
Canada.
going to say, that Eurostar every day.
but
Did
yeah.
you go to Cali as well?
No, I went to like Glasgow,
No, the real one.
So why were you in Paris?
because I did French, and they were like, "Oh, you can like go and study abroad and stuff."
Ah.
Yeah, but I didn't really study that much. I just got mad with it, and I lived in like a commune,
Right.
and it was like really weird. Like it was like, so like there was like maybe I want to say like 12 rooms, and like there was an advert, and it was I found it on Craigslist, which is not a great place to find anything. I've realised like
Craigslist, as they call it in America.
Yeah.
Say Craig.
Craigslist.
But yeah, it just said like this mad thing. It was like, this was what the advert said. It said rule number 37, the smoking room. And then it said the benches are sloped, so you won't fall asleep with a cigarette in your hand. And I replied to that. And then I went, and it was like this guy running this like mad commune that he was pretending there was like an art studio. I think that was just like tax avoidance. And we all had to pretend to be artists. We all had to carry like portfolios when we were like leaving and stuff. But it was really weird, and I wasn't sober for like any of it really. And also, it was kind of like Big Brother vibes, but without being filmed, hopefully. But actually now I'm worried. But yeah, it was weird.
Sounds
But
like the fucking Manson family. Or
it was
something.
quite weird, yeah. But I actually really like, I just ate a lot of like French McDonald's when I was there, to be honest. Like
McDo.
McDo, yeah.
One of the only things you remember from school. Macdo,
Yeah.
why would they even teach us
yeah,
that?
je suis allée au McDo. But you know, actually, my one takeaway is they have this thing that you get in like Paris McDonald's. It's called a croque McDo. You know, like croque monsieur.
Yeah.
But it's like inverted burger buns with cheese and ham. Croque McDo.
Which is
Is it
not
good?
dissimilar to the thing your boyfriend made you on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe this is just a common theme in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my Paris experience.
I'd take a continental breakfast. Any day.
That's what they have every day. over there.
Continental breakfast. It's funny that you guys did bring that up, because I did never refer to it as a continental breakfast at any point in the whole fucking time we were in Birmingham. Like, and then even when I was like thinking about it, that's the word that was going into my head. Like seriously.
We're in the train, there's like families walking past. Like, so yeah, earlier on when I was having my continental.
So yeah,
That'd be
highlight.
quite an interesting attachment style. You're continental.
Similar to fearful avoidance.
What the fuck, Amelia?
I'm just trying to slag
When-
you because you abandoned me. You were like, I've got abandonment issues, and you're like, no, I don't want to be associated with your anxious
I'm over it
attachment.
now.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, so cringe.
Was there a
so
story in the
attacked.
karaoke thing? Or?
There's
Not
no- was
especially,
no
just-
story.
You've only ever hosted
You-
karaoke once, and I was there, and I've been drinking all day. It was
You
just a fun day
were
for me.
steaming, yeah. It was it was weird. I thought that I could do Rock DJ by Robbie Williams, but
It's going to be the name of my French show this year. We'll shoot it on the Patreon.
but I never rehearsed it. And have you heard that song? He raps like really fast.
Does it?
So I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
better. And I was supposed to be the host. Do you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be
You were
good.
the only sober one in the room.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
Earnestly
a,
doing Robbie.
Somebody
is that
did.
a rap?
Well,
Is there
he's
rap in
kind
it?
of like speaking quite fast.
You
so
think he
I-
sings? Can I kick it? Yes, I can.
I don't think he raps.
I've
It's
got
not
the
quite
ball.
Sinatra, is it?
Yeah.
Quite a rapper. Aye, that's not quite Kendrick.
It's in the middle. That's Robbie.
flow.
Robbie strides that line. I'll tell you, my karaoke
Cecil
song
Johnson.
Yeah.
is Robbie Williams' Angels, but in a Scottish accent.
That sounds good.
And I'm feeling love is deed. I'm loving angels instead. I like to do that.
Have you actually done it?
I've done it at that place,
Strong
that
stuff.
Cosmopol. That was the place I've done it before.
What I remember from that night was there was this really handsome like Icelandic guy or something, and he was mad. He was really funny, and Amelia got him up, and she was hosting it the way I've never seen anyone host karaoke before. It was in the Hug and Pint downstairs.
Wearing a fucking Greg's outfit.
But she was asking them, she was interviewing them before their song as if it was like they're going on Robot Wars or something. And she'd done it with a few people and with varying, answers now, and it was funny. But then this like really like handsome, charming, like Icelandic guy comes on, and she's like, "Do you have anything?" He was about to say, "Nothing compares to you." And you went, "Do you have anything you'd like to say?" And he was like, "I shall speak only through the song."
It was so funny.
It was great.
You're talking on the pitch.
It was good. It was very like an unhinged vibe, and everyone was kind of going wild for the people that were on the stage.
Yeah.
Do you know
It
what I
was
mean?
class.
It was,
Oh, yeah.
but
should do
career
that at the
highlight. Career highlight that. I'll do
Late
my
night at Monkey Barrel.
Yeah, maybe they won't give me like a venue for an actual show, but I'll be like, but guys, what about this late night karaoke? And I'll try and sneak in material. Do you know what I mean? I'll try and sneak in like half
Stuff
a
from
fringe
the
show.
tours and stuff.
Yeah, I'll be like, now this is about my attachment style and my parents' divorce. Now we're going to sing Freedom by George Michael.
That's what I'd be fucking singing, because apparently that's what I love about freedom. Anyway, listen, Amelia, thank you very much for joining us. I think that
Yes.
covers it for today. Before we let you go, how can people find you online and for you to send some emojis under the Instagram? And
God.
what would you like to plug?
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm very stable on there. And Twitter, I'm at Amelia Bayler. And I also have a Glasgow comedy show on the 30th of March. It's a work in progress. I actually forgot I've got a present for Steve. It says, "I'm into WH Smith, are you?" It's a badge. I bought it like a year and a half ago because I thought it was funny as fuck. And then I
Thanks
thought,
so
you need
much.
to have it. So
That's
thanks
great.
for having me.
Show it
That's
to the
my,
camera. Show it to the camera, Stevie.
that's my
Hoping to get
gift to the
recognised.
show.
Thanks very much. I'm going to wear it.
You should wear it, yeah. So
Can't get
that,
it open.
but yeah, that's my gift to the show. And
Oh,
hopefully you
thank you
guys will
very
give me a
much.
free mug when you get some.
You'll get more money.
Thanks very much. That's very
And
kind.
so, and your podcast, are you still doing your podcast?
I do it like 5 episodes every 3 years, so probably.
What's the name of it? People
It's
want to go and
called
listen.
Funny Looks. So if anyone wants to listen to me and Stu having like quite a mental conversation just after the Fringe, then yeah, listen to it.
There you go.
Both
Excellent.
at weird points in our lives.
Just quite a weird point. September 2022.
Different vibes as well, because we've been speaking about your boyfriend in this, but you were talking quite a lot about how you hadn't been rattled in a long time on that podcast.
I can't even remember where Paisley is.
That was the vibe on that one. Definitely like less horny vibes on this podcast. So yeah, that's great.
And,
Good way to end that. Just by saying that.
and once again, thanks very much for tuning in. As ever, you can like and subscribe on YouTube, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can follow us at SomewherePod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and send any emails to us at somewherepod@gmail.com. And do remember to sign up to Patreon for extra episodes once every 2 weeks. That's what it is. We only got to the end. We're
Come
doing
on.
that well.
You
Once,
can
twice,
do it.
3 times a
You
podcast.
can do it, Jennings. I've
You
got
make it
faith
look
in you.
easy, Steve. But listen, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will speak to you.
Cheers,
Very soon.
guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Amelia.
you.
Thanks, Amelia.
Thanks for having me.